Nephilim giants, those who fell from heaven, angels who fell to earth from heaven. The Nephilim are the offspring of the sons of God, quote unquote, and the daughters of men, quote unquote, according to Genesis 6:4 of the Holy Bible, the giants that dwell in Canaan, chapter 13:33. A similar word with different vowel sounds used in Ezekiel 32:27 refers to dead Philistine warriors. Of course, they were giants. In the Hebrew Bible and in several early Christian writings, Nephilim means the fallen ones are a people created by the crossings of sons of God and daughters of men. Nephilim, a word loosely translated as titans, or in some Bibles and left untranslated in others. The phrase sons of God is sometimes translated to English as sons of the gods. The Hebrew word Elohim is a plural form, but is often used with singular verbs and adjectives, as in this case, when the only meaning is the traditional meaning of the term. The traditional Jewish view derived from the book of Enoch is that the fathers of the Nephilim, the sons of God, a category of fallen angels, angels who fell to earth. However, there is some controversy on the matter at this point. Some commentators suggest that the Nephilim are believed to be fathered by members of a Proto-Hebrew pantheon and are a brief glimpse of early Hebrew religion. Others, especially some Christians, suggest the sons of God, quote unquote, were fully human. It has been suggested that ridding the earth of these Nephilim was one of God's purposes for flooding the earth in Noah's day with the deluge. Despite the text of the Bible and its traditional interpretations, the idea that divine beings mated with humans is controversial, especially among Christians who refer to Jesus' teaching in the book of Matthew that angels do not marry. The paragraph has disputed because Jesus said that the resurrected do not marry in heaven, but are like the angels. When they don't tell us everything about what they wanted, the idea of angels in mating with humans being unpleasant has suggested more figurative interpretations of the Nephilim, including the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the traditional view of Genesis 6:1, and the allusion refers to certain men of divine descent and called the sons of God, Deuteronomy 14:1 and 32:5, began to pursue carnal interests and thus took wives of the daughters of men, that is, those who were faithless descended from Cain. This is also the view presented even in the ancient works, especially the second book of Adam and Eve. Rephaim is a general title that the book of Joshua was given to the natives of Palestine, the Philistines, which he then conquered and deprived of the Canaanite tribes. It was known to the Moabites as Emim, that is, fearful, Deuteronomy 2:11, and to the Ammonites as Zamzummim. In the book of Samuel, it states that some of them found refuge among the Philistines and were still around in David's day. We know that David, of course, did away with Goliath. Goliath had 5 brothers who were as tall as him. We know nothing of their origin, though. Anakim in the Torah, the Anakim are the descendants of Anak, and they dwelt in the southern part of Philistine and neighborhood of Hebron. In the days of Abraham, they inhabited the region later known as Edom and Moab, east of the Jordan River. They have been mentioned by the inhabitants of the land of Canaan. The book of Joshua states that Joshua eventually drove them out of the land, except for a few who found refuge in the city of Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod. The Philistine giant that David faced with were supposedly descendants of the Anakim. Nephilim, in other words, the story of the Nephilim is more complete in the book of Enoch, which is part of the Ethiopian biblical canon. There are also references to them being descendants in the books of Judith, Shirah, Baruch, and the Wisdom of Solomon. Nephilim, there have been many interesting attempts to reconcile with the mythology of the evolution, and theory is that mythology often contains a dose of truth in the form of highly distorted popular memory of events in the distant past of human evolution. In this context, the Nephilim have become associated with everything with extraterrestrials as part of efforts to rationalize their existence. One theory is that the Nephilim were actually the Neanderthals or Neanderthal hybrid human sapiens, Homo sapiens. It's believed by these people that modern men shared several thousand years of history with the Neanderthal, but also that the Middle East region was home to survivors of Homo sapiens or Neanderthalensis. Therefore, it's possible that the popular memory of these creatures survived through mythology, but not necessarily in the way they have been imagined. In addition, it seems that the Neanderthal adopted some of the technological and cultural innovations, so the theory surviving Neanderthals or hybrids may have been very large and powerful men. A major flaw in this theory, some have suggested that the Neanderthal man is in fact, they were slightly smaller in height than the Homo sapiens, and it is unlikely that they would have been called giants. They were giants in relation to their predecessors, Australopithecus and Homo habilis. Of course, this flaw can easily be resolved if one remembers that the word Nephilim, previously described, means fallen ones and not giants. The word translated in King James Bible as giants, an admittedly mistranslation. Well, we know there were giants. Excuse me, I have to insist that there were giants because of the fact that when Moses, with the tribes of Israel, during the Exodus, sent 12 spies, one from each tribe, to see what was in the promised land, they saw that the people there were giants. Even their grapes and their fruits were gigantic. Okay, that's why they didn't even want to go in there, except for Joshua. Everybody else basically wanted to keep away because of the fact that they were giants. There was no way that they could win against these giants. They were like grasshoppers in front of them. So yes, there were giants. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.